All right, so many of you requested this, the Coco Chanel deep dive. And you know what? It's a fascinating story, right? This woman builds a fashion empire, becomes this icon, but
But the more you look, the less clear-cut it
oh
gets.
yeah, way more complicated than just the glitz and the glamour, huh?
That's where a documentary like Coco Chanel, Unbuttoned, really comes in.
Yeah, gets into the nitty-gritty.
Peels back the layers. I mean, are you ready for this? The woman behind those iconic designs, kind of a walking contradiction.
Oh, you're telling me, I mean, where do we even start, I guess, with Gabrielle Bonnard Chanel?
Right. Born in 1883.
A world away from the one she ends up shaping, huh?
Think about it. Abandoned by her father, grows up in an orphanage run by nuns. Not exactly the runaway at Paris Fashion Week, is it?
Talk about a contrast. So how does that girl become Coco Chanel? Was there something back then that planted the seed for her design genius?
That's what's so interesting. That convent with its starkness, the black and white habits, the simplicity, it's almost like you can see hints of her signature style there.
Whoa, wait a minute. Are we saying nuns accidentally influenced high fashion?
Well, not directly, but it's a striking parallel, isn't it? Even the name Coco speaks volumes. Cabaret Days, a stage name, it's like an early sign she was all about reinvention.
Always evolving, huh?
Exact.
So, okay, fast forward to the early 1900s. Gabrielle's Coco. Now, she opens her first boutique on Rue Cambon. But Paris was already a fashion capital, right? So what makes her stand out in a crowd like that?
It wasn't just the clothes, it was who she was dressing. Society was changing, women were pushing for new roles. Chanel, she understood that.
So it was more than just looking good. It was about, feeling a certain way.
You got it. Those corsets, all those layers of fabric, they were practically holding women back. So Chanel, what does she do? She introduces jersey.
Now, I know jersey fabric now, but back then.
Revolutionary. Practically unheard of in women's clothes, right? It was considered a man's fabric, mostly for undergarments. But it was comfy, moved with the body. Chanel made it chic.
I made a statement, too.
Exactly. It was about freedom.
So she was a designer, yeah, but also super savvy about the times.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. But there's the less glamorous side of her story we can't ignore. She relied a lot on powerful men, didn't she? To get to where she did, I mean.
Yeah, that's true. You had Etienne Balsan, Arthur Bois-Capel. These guys bankrolled her early work.
Yeah.
Chanel was, well, let's say she was good at cultivating those relationships. Some might even say ruthlessly ambitious.
Yeah, that ambition, that drive, it takes us to a really a tough part of her story, World War II.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people fled Paris, but Chanel, she makes a different choice.
She stayed.
And not just anywhere.
Yeah.
The Hotel Ritz. A place known for being, well, a haven for Nazi officers.
This is where things get really interesting and uncomfortable. Her relationship with Hans Gunther von Dinklage, he was a German intelligence officer, but it went deeper than just a wartime romance.
Oh, how much deeper? Are we talking more than just, socializing with the enemy?
Declassified documents, they paint a pretty clear picture. Coco Chanel wasn't just present during the occupation, she was actively working for the Abwehr.
The what now?
The Abwehr. German military intelligence.
Whoa, hold on. That's espionage.
Yeah.
Not just like bad taste in boyfriends. What was she doing for them?
And that's what's so disturbing. It wasn't passive. She was involved in operations, using her connections to try and sway things for them. Agent F7124, codename Westminster, that was Coco Chanel.
No way.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Seriously.
Like Operation Model Hut. Right. Operation Model Hat. Using her social influence to try to make a peace deal between Nazi Germany and Britain.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, here's the French resistance risking everything, and Chanel's out there pushing Nazi propaganda.
It's chilling. Makes you question, right? Like, what were her motives? Was
Yeah.
it just self-preservation? Or did she really believe she could, I don't know, influence things?
Or did her ambition, that thing that always drove her, take her down a dark path? I mean, that's what we have to ask ourselves, right? Historians are still trying to piece it all together, but when Paris was liberated in 1944, there was a reckoning.
Yeah. Collaborators, they were named, shamed right.
Big time.
Ostracized. But Chanel walks away. No consequences. How is that even possible?
That's the question, isn't it? The documentary really digs into this. You have theories ranging from, I don't know, convenient amnesia to something much juicier.
Juicy how?
Winston Churchill allegedly intervened on her behalf.
Wait, hold up. The Winston Churchill, the guy leading the fight against the Nazis, he protected Coco Chanel.
It's hard to wrap your head around, right?
Yeah. Doesn't add up.
Some say they knew each other before the war, or maybe there was a certain fondness. Others think Chanel had something on him, like knowledge of, Nazi sympathizers in British high society.
So blackmail. Now that's a plot twist worthy of a Chanel fashion show.
Okay.
But is there anything to back that up?
Mostly speculation. Whispers, The kind that follow powerful people throughout history. But it does make you wonder, doesn't it? What could she possibly know that would make Churchill look the other way?
Okay, so maybe lucky, maybe a secret deal, whatever it was, Chanel avoids jail. But exile in Switzerland? That doesn't sound too terrible, does it? Yeah. Especially when you look at what was happening to her perfume business back in France.
Ah, Chanel number 5, the scent of irony.
So?
It was booming. Run by Pierre Wertheimer. He was Jewish.
No way.
Yeah.
So the woman collaborating with Nazis is, like, indirectly making money off a company run by someone they persecuted. Talk about a tangled web.
And it gets even more complicated because some sources suggest that during the war, Chanel actually tried to use anti-Semitic laws to take full control of the perfume business from Wertheimer.
Oh, wow. This story, it just keeps unfolding.
It does.
Okay, so 1954, Chanel's back in Paris at 71 years old. What brings her back? Ego? Guilt? Or something else?
Maybe all of the above. But what's clear is her resilience, right? She comes back with these iconic new designs, the tweed suit, the quilted handbag.
Inspired by her time in Scotland, right?
During,
in her exile. And they were a hit, huh? Jackie Kennedy, Grace Kelly, all embracing the new Chanel. It's almost like the war never happened.
It's a remarkable comeback story. But it begs the question, should we separate the art from the artist? Can we celebrate Chanel's designs while acknowledging her past, the choices she made?
That's what makes this whole deep dive so compelling, isn't it? It's not just about fashion, it's about how we look at history. At human nature, I mean.
Exactly. Coco Chanel's story is a reminder that, hero worship is never simple. Brilliance can exist alongside some pretty serious moral failings.
It makes you wonder, right? If we knew all this back then, would those designs have had the same impact? Right. Would Jackie O have worn that pink suit?
That's for each listener to decide.
Yeah, personal reckoning.
There's no easy answer. We can admire the craftsmanship, the innovation, while also, acknowledging the darkness. Or we can reject it completely, say it's impossible to reconcile.
No right answer, is there?
No. But that's where the real learning happens, I think. That discomfort, that wrestling with the issue.
Exactly. That's what a good deep dive is all about, right? Not about passing judgment, but about understanding. Yeah. And maybe accepting that history and people, well, they're rarely black and white. Right. Yeah. It's like you're holding up one of her beautifully tailored suits, but then you see the seams, right? Threads that don't quite match.
The artistry is still there, but it hits different knowing the backstory.
It does. So where does that leave us? I mean, people still wear her designs, her influences everywhere, even a century later.
Well, that's the thing about a deep dive like this, right? It's not about giving you the answers. It's about giving you the information so you can, come to your own conclusions.
Yeah, because it's a personal choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do we separate the art from the actions, appreciate one, condemn the other?
Yeah.
Or is her legacy, like, painted forever because of what she did?
Tough question. Honestly, I even struggle with it sometimes, and I'm the one, analyzing this stuff.
Right.
Some days I look at her designs and they're just breathtaking. Other days, the weight of her choices, it makes it hard to, to even...
Isn't that the most human thing of all, though? To hold those two things in our minds at the same time. Especially when it comes to people we put on a pedestal.
Absolutely. Look, this deep dive, it wasn't about canceling Coco Chanel or, praising her blindly either. It was about looking closer, right? At the woman behind the myth, the good and the bad.
Light and shadow, yeah.
Exactly.
So to everyone listening, think about this the next time you see a Chanel bag, a perfume ad, or even just hear her name, mentioned as an inspiration. Remember the whole story.
Let it spark your curiosity, not just about the clothes, but about the woman who made them. And maybe, just maybe, it'll make you think twice about, those picture-perfect stories we like to tell about our icons.
Well said. That's what a good deep dive is all about. We've given you the tools. Now it's your turn to explore.
Go deeper.
Exactly. Until next time, keep asking the tough questions, keep learning, and keep diving deep.